Hello, friends. It is time for the Expanse RPG Community stream. Can you hear me all right? Let me know in chat. You know, for those folks who we're just kind of waiting for friends to come and hang out. But I figured out why I was stalling. Every once in a while, I just get a hitch and I kind of disappear for a minute. It was some kind of service that was running in the background that was turning off my stuff for me when it thought that I was maxing out. When it thought that I was maxing out my CPU, and so I turned it off, and I haven't had a problem yet. So knock on wood, I say. Jay Gray popped in and said, "Howdy, howdy, good to see you, friend." As you folks come and join in, make sure that you take a minute to like the stream, say howdy in chat, and we're just about ready to party. You know, I want to say has it been 4 years? Maybe it's been 3 years. One of the best parts of my job is interacting with the community, and we've got such a stellar community when it relates to the Expanse RPG that, you know, they formed a community of folks on Facebook, I believe. That's where I found them first, and got to know them, and was just really lucky to be able to meet the founder. And you all know who I'm talking about, of course. It is none other than our buddy Audun. Now, I never say your name right. I'm sure of it. So pronounce your name for me. Audun.
Audun.
Odin.
Yes. Oh.
Okay, gotcha. I'm trying to be too dramatic about it. Odin. Odin, and then Lovely.
Well, yes, lovely, but lovely is fine.
Okay. Odin, lovely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna work on that, my friend. Odin, thanks to you for joining with me today to talk about have this community stream to talk about the Adventure Jam, right?
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah. What do you want to know?
I want to know all about it. So first of all, how long have you been doing this?
So this is the fourth jam. So this is the fourth year. We started during the pandemic. Okay. Yeah. But I think I started the community would be during the Kickstarter of the original rulebook.
Yeah.
I started. And fair, you know, to be fair, I started the Facebook one. There's a very good community on Discord. At least 2 servers, and there's a very good one on Reddit, and there are probably elsewhere too, like the Atomic
Absolutely, lots of great live streams and all kinds of stuff. But we're not talking about those today. We're talking about you and this Adventure Jam, which is 4th year. And talk a little bit about sort of its inception. Why did you start it? What is it? What was the goal? And how's it been?
Well, it was the pandemic. You may remember that 2-year period of staying indoors.
Yeah,
so stay indoors.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, and then during that time, RPGs sort of soared in a bit, and VTTs became a lot more common and used because that's the only way you could play. So that meant it spread. And I was sitting there at home in the apartment we were renting at the time, and I was like, well, I want to play. I know people want to play. And Expanse was fairly new, so there wasn't a ton of stuff out. And I thought, well, and I'd heard about this one-page Adventure Jam stuff for other games. So I thought, well, why don't I run one? And luckily, my co-moderators, Darren and Richard, they were like, yeah, let's go. And so then the goal was to create more resources and stories to play and to sort of expand upon for GMs.
Yeah.
And we have succeeded, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so the Facebook group there's the larger Facebook group, kind of the group proper, if you will, and then there is a GM group, right? Like a group of people.
Yeah.
Okay. Why the division? That's not something you often see.
Well, so in the old school forums, you would have a GM section sometimes, and on Discord servers, you will have a GM channel and stuff for the GMs, where they can talk and share their trauma, outside, away from the prying eyes of their players. And that was the general idea. I thought, well, it's not a bad idea to have that, because I've also run a few other communities or set up a few other Facebook groups that usually they go on their own. And I thought, well, this would be a good idea. And when we started with the jam, I thought, well, it shouldn't really just be, these adventures shouldn't be available to everyone, because if the player, a GM, and that may be a bit conservative of me, but I was thinking, well, GMs would like to have these things maybe a bit separate. There's nothing that stops anyone from really joining if they're not a GM,
right?
Yeah, basically. So, but so the idea was to sort of create a more sort of collaborative space for that, and the jam, I guess, has been sort of the main focus of that group. But of course, there are other discussions, and people share their creations there.
Yeah, well, I also like that the tone of it is it's different between the groups. There is, I think that it's really smart to have a GM space so that folks can, who are GMs, can, like you say, commiserate and kind of, but then also hone their craft, which is one thing that I really love about the Adventure Jam, is that it's really building a capacity for creation and creating in the space and creating using the Adventure Game Engine. Hello from Germany, says Richard. Tyler, yes, this is Troy Embodied. Welcome to my face. I'm glad this time zone works for you, friend. So we're talking today, of course, with Audun. Yeah. Hey. And you and I have been collaborating together for some time now, and really, I've enjoyed every minute of it. And you have there is a certain community management thing that happens to people when they get it, and then it infuses all their cells, and it changes the way they look at the world and the way that they. Did you always have kind of a online sort of leadership head, or did you kind of develop that?
Yeah.
What was that?
I don't know if it's me or you, but I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh,
and you're frozen on my end.
It's probably me. Can you hear me all right, friends? Wonder why. It's showing everything's good for me. You can't hear me still?
I can not really understand. It's a very bad sound.
A very bad sound. Test.
Oh, almost.
What is it making a?
There, now you're back.
Weird. I wonder what was going on. My apologies.
It could be my end. Could be my end.
Oh, I think it might have been. I know, right? The live streaming is always a crapshoot, but I prefer it. It sounds like they could hear me, but you might have been in a fog, or it could have been me.
Yeah.
But what my question was, so there's a thing that happens with people that kind of get the bug for managing online communities, and it's a discipline that is both kind of to a certain degree molecular, and the other is just exposure to the process and understanding it when you crack the code on how to kind of organize for people to be organized online. Were you always kind of a community guy, or did you develop some of your community prowess, as part of, working with the Expanse?
I've always liked to be part of communities, to put it like that. I've always been on, from good old school forums in the late 90s. But as a sort of, I've been more of the opinionated person, I guess. But then, when you, at some point, I guess, when you see there is nothing, like for the Expanse RPG, it was announced, no one took the initiative. Maybe I was very impatient, and I thought, well, I'll set up this group. Not with the ambition of doing anything more than just create a space. Yeah. But then you create a space, and then, it was, as you say, it's a very good and supportive community. It's very dedicated and inventive, to paraphrase. one of our members said something along the lines recently. It's, this, for a game of this size, fans are very committed, and they produce an impressive amount of custom creations or custom content. And that's sort of what's started to happen there, like websites, web tools, navigation tools and stuff that they do online. And then, as you said, newcomers to this game, they have more support from our community than some of the other more big name games out there. And that I saw that kind of happening a bit, and particularly with the first jam, I was feeling, well, now we may be onto something here.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot in this process.
I'm betting you have, and and I think too, these are little projects. I mean, these are full adventures, right? I mean, like, what are the ground rules for participation, and what are they supposed to have created at the time of submission?
Well, so this is a peculiar sort of language thing, but it's a one-page adventure jam. So it's one page, but the page has two sides. So, or 2 pages on one sheet of paper. The precision there is curious. But on the one side of the sheet of paper, on one page on that's where that's the limitation. So you need to fit your adventure, the story, the hook, the drama, the tension, everything in conclusion there. There are, of course, some sort of formal requirements to, don't use size 7 fonts,
Sure.
Right. I haven't made sort of margin rules yet, but I might.
Are they stretching it all the way to the...
Yeah, no, not this time around, but we have had some earlier who were quite creative with that. But then, of course, other also you put in there sort of layout and sort of graphic or design skills, sort of creativity to use in that.
Tyler says it's a 2-sided page in an immensely helpful loophole.
Yeah. So, and on the other side of that page, on the second page of the sheet of paper, they can put like extra rules if they have any, like if, because, it's the age, it's the adventure game engine. So, if you have a challenge test and you want to create that table as they use in the examples in the rule book, or if you want to, put in new gear or a starship and stuff, you can put that there. So you don't need the stats on the first page. That's for the second page. Like if you have a map, we have like this year we have some participants that will create a map, like a topographical map or something, or they will create just a layout of an encounter or something and include that. So not necessarily directly useful or usable, but it gives the GM an idea of what it looks like and how they should set up their scene if they don't have a better or another idea to how to do it.
Gotcha. And that's what's great about just the adventure game engine in general, is that you can play it. If you learn it by playing the Expanse, you can play Fantasy Age, Modern Age, Blue Rose, and Cthulhu Awakens, and who am I missing? All the Age games in our library.
Dragon Age.
Dragon Age. Why do I always forget that one? And why does everyone always say there's a Dragon Age RPG? There is. I might have answered my own question. But okay, awesome. So is there, when looking back on the 4 years, have you thought about, thank you, Richard. Yeah. Have you thought about looking back on the submissions, have there been any sort of real innovative, interesting ones that kind of stick in your mind, whether they won or didn't, or were selected, or how that,
Well, from because the first jam was fairly easy to remember. So there was one there called many good ones. The one that didn't sadly win was called. Can you hear me?
I can. I'm sorry. I was giving Tyler the thumbs up. I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying.
Okay. It's called Zakaya Cries. It was written by I'm not sure I get the name out. Kairul Hisham. He lives in, I think,
it was called
Malaysia.
What? Zendaya Cries?
Zakaya Cries.
Oh, Zakaya, not Zendaya.
No. And it's a borderline Expanse, because they in the sense that it's kind of it's very Expanse in that it's sort of horror, but he basically sort of introduced a type of AI, which I am aware that the Expanse authors are not a big fan of.
Right.
That doesn't really exist.
Like, I think as canon, they don't care for AI. It's kind of villainous, right? I mean, I think it doesn't have some history that is, yeah.
So it's not really in there. They have the expert systems and stuff, but this is kind of like there is a. Well, I'm kind of spoiling it now, but it introduced some quite sort of neat thing, tied it very together with some of the central sort of agents in the Expanse novels early on, and I thought that was really cool. I mean, that was maybe one of them who pushed the margin limits a bit much, but it was very sort of good. I think quite. I mean, there might have been others there who were more innovative, but that's the one that sort of sticks to my mind.
Yeah, and plus it's nice to see in that first volley of submissions, people doing some real creative stuff.
And yeah, so I mean, I could talk about them for a while, but because there's also one set on Mars with some jumping flight suit things, and it's there were people being very creative a lot. Yeah, so and then the second time there were only 4 submissions. Well, I say only, but there were 4 submissions. And they were all great. I mean, we played. Did you join us for that?
No, I think on that one. Well, so that's when we first kind of talked about kind of what could we do, and was that, did Ian run that?
No, Ian ran the first one, and then John Bultina of Brex's Precipice ran that second one,
and then the third one
was Merrick Moyer.
I don't know.
I don't know how to pronounce his surname, but I think it's Moyer.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Muar, I think is how I've said it, but that could be possibly wrong because I say everybody's name wrong. Yeah, he was great. And then this year, Ian's back to reprise his role as GM for the winner. I use air quotes because they're all winners. But my question for you is, so they've turned at this stage of the game, people have submitted their adventures. They've jammed.
Yeah, so it's a month-long event. It's 4 weeks. And then they write, and some revise them, because in the GM community, some people will give like comments and feedback, either openly or maybe in through Messenger or something. Like one of the participants this year, he basically asked some questions. Yeah, that guy, Tyler. He basically had some idea. He wanted to create something, and he wanted feedback. So then he just asked, "What do you think of this?" And then the community sort of gave some pointers that helped him along. So some had revisions.
Yeah.
And then so last Monday, I think it was September 30th, just before midnight, Universal Central Time. So about 3:00 for you, PM. That was the deadline. That's not a very hard deadline because I'm probably hello Tyler. I'm probably asleep by that time, so I'm not gonna, like, if you handed it in later, I probably wouldn't have noticed. And then I gave it a few days for it to sort of simmer, and then we put up a poll. So it's more like a favorite poll rather than who should win. But of course, the most favored adventure gets the prize this year, Ian.
That's right, Ian is the prize. And actually, what Ian's going to do, we're going to fly him out to the winner's home, and they get to keep him for a week. A whole week. Oh. He just needs like a little shoebox, put a little grass on him, and keep him watery. I am embodied, Stan. I thought it would be a good idea to not leave poor Audun. Sorry.
Oh, the second one, that was very good.
Audun?
No, the one before.
Audun. Audun.
Somewhere in between. I lived in England for 3 years, so I'm used to my name being pronounced in a different way. Many people there thought that my name was Odin. So.
Right, but it's not Odin, it's Audun.
Yeah.
You're like, sure.
Sure.
Absolutely. Tyler mentions that it's that peer review and community feedback is so valuable. It is too, and that's what's great about all this stuff. I like this. He also mentions, just seal myself in a giant cardboard box labeled live animal, handle with care. Yeah. I dig it. Wait, are we sending you out too? Lots of presents going out to people that are people. Okay, well, so you have compiled the submissions, and
Yes.
got them. You want to take a peek? Should we go through them?
Yeah, we could. Sure. I mean, as you pull that up, I can say a bit about the theme this year, because we have different themes for the different jams. Well, I can't actually recall the first one, so but the second one was Beyond Worlds Beyond the Rings, which was basically because Beyond the Ring had just been launched, so it was about stories set beyond the ring, not in Soul System.
Right.
And last year we had about living in space, life in space, and this year it's more like living on ground under falling skies, because we put the theme sort of to be in synergy with the Backer Kit campaign. So it was about planet-side adventures, free navy conflict, or early transport union. That was sort of the deal or the theme. So
hey, now that you've mentioned it, I wanted to, before we dive into the PDF and to go into the content therein, I want to play a quick vid and to remind everybody, the campaign for the Expanse RPG Transport Union Edition ends on the 16th. We got a little bit of time, and we've just added a whole bunch of new stretch goals, including a social stretch goal that if we get, I haven't looked at the standing, but all I need is, I think I said, was it 2,000 shares of a particular URL just to get the word out. Then we launch what is called the Age Insider program. And basically it is 3 free months for anybody who backs. You opt in and you hang out, and we won't just start magically charging you. But the idea is that we'll bring folks in to, we've got a pretty solid plan, but we want to make sure that it jives with the community. And we're talking the entirety, the whole Age community. So folks will be able to get access to panels and creative workshops. You'll be able to get regular tools and updates, things like ships for the Expanse and NPCs or monsters for Modern Age or Fantasy Age. An adventure for Blue Rose. Also, we are going to be having a new Chris Pramus is going to start kind of a creative blog, kind of talking about his process, sharing a little bit about what goes on, and really more about Chris's. He is a miniatures gamer. He has a whole sort of running collection of games that he's enjoyed, and he shared that on Twitter and stuff. And what we want to do is have that creative blog for people who are members of the Age Insider, and that can ping him in that space and ask questions. In addition, we'll be doing things like regular actual plays where the developers will run games, but you'll get early access to things that are in process or being released. You'll also be able to play test new products, new Age products. The list goes on and on and on. And all you have to do to unlock that is to share the link, which I am going to share with you here momentarily. It'll also be in our show notes after the show's over. But let me go ahead and play this little vid for you. And then when we come back, we'll take a look at all the goodies in the submissions for this year's one-page adventure game jam. We'll be right back.
Welcome to your next operation, the Expanse role-playing game Transport Union Edition. Based on our intel, this is nothing less than a game changer. We're equipping ourselves with a brand new core rulebook packed with everything needed to navigate the dangers ahead. With 3 new supplements come 2 new sets of dice. And yes, we can confirm gaming minis for the Expanse RPG. And for the new folks, welcome aboard. The Expanse RPG runs on the stunt-powered adventure game engine. It's fast, easy to learn, and prime for action. Veterans, this edition integrates with all your past operations. The difference is more character options, more ships, more equipment, backgrounds, adversaries, and even more still. All of this takes place between the 6th and 7th novels for The Expanse by James S.A. Corey. We've identified 2 mission profiles: Free Navy Conflict and Demon's Gambit, a deep dive into the Transport Union era. And if it's more depth you seek, the Crew Companion is your go-to. It's a player's guide offering more character options and deeper insights into the universe of the Expanse and your place within it. And for the first time, official miniatures for the Expanse RPG. We partnered with War Games Atlantic to bring you 2 sets of miniatures, a set for the crew and another for spaceships. Your crew, your ships in the palm of your hand. Back the Expanse RPG Transport Union Edition today.
That's some quality VO. I'm a fan. Just kidding. It's me. All right, so here we are. I've got our PDF up. We're hanging out with Audun, and we're talking about the Expanse role-playing game fan communities. I didn't do it, did I? I can tell by your face. It's like, no. Working on it. But the Expanse fan community has a game jam, one-page game jam, and they do it every year, and it's something that Audun's been doing for 4 years now, and this is the 4th year. And these are the submissions. Now, how many submissions do we have in this compiled PDF?
4. There are 4 this year.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so let's see how we've done this. This is the Volume 4 collection, and people can now go grab the first 3, right? Can they go to the website?
Yeah. Yeah, they can go to the website, because we haven't really mentioned that, but there is also a blog site connected to this. So it's not that's more my project, but I try to involve community, but there's no one else who has sort of access to that, the back end there. But
gotcha. But it is a great place to stop and get an update on events that are happening, and also download this stuff. And what's the website?
It's what is it? It's expanserpgcommunity.com.
It is indeed. Sorry, I'm just getting the link here.
So that's basically, I try to link to all the communities I've found, and I link to live streams and other creators that have, others who are similarly inclined to me, and so they have their own website where they've shared their own creations for the Expanse. I've tried to, if I found that, I've linked to their site on the front page. And then, of course, all the PDFs and stuff from these jams, but also other stuff like, community adventures, larger, more complete adventures and stuff like that.
It's just a great sort of resource for people who want to connect with the community. You've got great links here and stuff. Let me see what happens if I share this. How does it look? Oh, yeah, fine. Yeah, just really great stuff. There you are, your adventure game jam, one-page adventure jams. Here's a log for you.
So that's the posts and updates and stuff.
Yeah. Adventures and resources. This is all phenomenal stuff. And so check it out. Make sure if you are a fan of the Expanse, then you need to be connected with this group and meet some, make some new friends, I say.
Yeah, and if you are a GM, join us on Facebook. If you accept that kind of tools or social media, and then join the GM group, and you can read them and vote.
It's very active, not spammy, but a great group. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
For the month and a half of the jam, it's a bit spammy. I must admit, because I try to promote it. So
sometimes you join a Facebook group. Sometimes when you join a Facebook group, you get a bunch of just like people aren't paying attention, and there's a bunch of bots trying to sell you, T-shirts or something, or But this is a very well kept, focused community of people who are there, as fans. So for
call
use
out
with
my moderators, they're good.
Yeah. Shout out to the moderators. This is great too. Yeah, it says Tyler says very friendly for folks who aren't as active on Facebook too, which it would be me if you can believe it or not. So our first submission. So we've got. Is this the contents? These are the actual adventures.
Yes.
Sorry, these. And it's Piece of the Pie, Caesar's Ransom, Paradigm Shift, and Tides of Misfortune. Great titles.
Yeah, They're good at titles, these guys.
Yeah, super, super evocative stuff. Okay, so you got all your disclaimer stuff here. Okay, so now we're at a piece of the pie. So you want to give me the rundown?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we should spoil it utterly, but it's an Earthbound adventure. It's very much on point with the theme and topic of the jam, and sort of the blurb I've written for this is like it presents the players with opportunities and potentially difficult dilemmas.
Okay.
And I think it's very on point, as I said, but it's well laid out. It's easy to run. It's not many. I mean, there are rails, as you should have, but they're not many, and they're not very strict. It's more like, this is the mission, this is the challenge, here is the potential conflict. I mean, you can see just the headlines. It's very,
right
very
there. Yeah, the assignments,
it's
hazard, the conflict,
the conflict and resolution. Yeah, so it's very easy to use, I think. And I haven't playtested, but
yeah.
And then we have Caesar's Ransom. Yes, this is an impressive amount of information to put into a one-page adventure jam. It's gotten lots of new information, a new planet, a new colony. It's got even a new ship. I mean, I had to move stuff from the second page onto the first page. Because you see, he also has a map. He has 5 NPCs. Yes, this is like
That's impressive. Lots of great info here. Real quick, just to jump back real fast, because I don't think we said who is the creator.
So that's Jeremy Taylor. Okay. He is not a Facebook member, because you do not have to be part of Facebook to participate.
Nice to know.
You can send it to an email. That's on the website when it's open. I think it's onepageadventures@expanserpgcommunity.com. So That's a mouthful.
Okay. But it's good to know that you don't have to slog yourself into the Facebook world. Then this one is this Tyler?
Tyler. Yeah, this is
Tyler. Wow, well done, sir.
That's it's got everything you need for a campaign there. This is
really does.
It's a one-page campaign almost.
The layout is just really nice.
So
very
done. This is a launch spin. I mean, and to be a bit, if it's okay to be a bit critical, this is would require planning or at least familiarization to run as a one-page adventure. I think a piece of pie, you can just put it on the table and start playing. This requires some planning, and it also whether one of the themes for the jam this year was planet-side adventures, and this has that, but the players can also choose to go into space.
Okay.
So it's kind of got
versatility.
Both. Yeah. I mean, with the new ship, but I mean, it doesn't really steer you that way, I don't think. But it is open enough. So it's but it is It's like the one I wrote for the first jam. It's a bit more demanding to read, to run straight off the page.
I do notice that it might have a smaller font size than that.
Yeah, I think it's 9 or 9.5 points.
The better to info dump you. Yeah. Love it. Okay, so now we're Paradigm Shift?
Yeah, Paradigm Shift by Romig, J.M. Romig. This is very on point with the theme again. It takes the players not to a planet, but to Void City, which, according to the Sol system, is planet-side enough. And I agree, because it's the Void Cities are mentioned in the books, but as far as I can recall now, and someone will correct me if I'm wrong, they're not really sort of explored very much, except Medina, which may arguably not be called. Yeah, whatever. And it said earlier in the Transport Union, it's an investigation. It plays a lot on the politics and history and the cultural conflict that led to the Free Navy conflict, I would say. Straightforward, fairly easy to pick up and run. And it's got some really cool NPC rules, as you see there. Like, he's got simplified NPC C setup, which I really like. And we're actually in conversation about creating a little house rule supplement based on this.
I like that,
because it's very simple to run with that. Because it's adventure specific, so it's the attitude, how good they are, any relevant focuses and stuff. So it's very cool sort of solution to having lots of unique NPCs, which is more difficult if you want to make them fully made.
Got you. If you want to have them, all statted out and realized. So one of the things I wanted to add too, just as you're thinking about it, Audun, and if anybody else is kind of hanging out and you've got some home rules or some homebrew kind of additions that you've made, we're going to be opening up on the Atomic Think Tank a homebrew section. It's just a lawless place of, it's a, how do they say, a hive of scum and villainy. It's not scum, but, but villainy for sure. But just, taking aspects of the adventure game engine and creating a new sort of experience and trying out new things. This is something like this would go really nicely as a reference or a resource or something. But we'll be kicking that off soon, and I'll let you know. Love to see some of this stuff in there. And then Tides of Misfortune.
Yeah, and then Tides of Misfortune. Again, like the first one, a piece of the pie. And this is made by Mark Stout. He is a regular. I think he's been on all four. Maybe I'm wrong. I think he's been jamming for a couple of times at least. And this is very on point. It's also set on Earth, but it's again spoiler territory. But it's very much just a frame of you're on Earth, planets asteroids are falling. So I guess that's the spoiler. But it's dangerous. He's managed to include like moral dilemmas and physical hazards. Very easy to run, I would think. Intuitively presented, and he's got new uses for the churn.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, and
minor, major, epic. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so he has more stuff on that and how to use that, and of course he's got a note on traveling the flooded city. So it's also a very good contender for favorite adventure. I think all of them are great. I shouldn't pick
clearly. All of them are great. The layout is great. The attention to detail, and a lot of work went into this. You can see it.
Well, I have this is the fourth time, so I have a template. I changed colors, and it's copy pasting and editing. I do edit the text, so sometimes to make it more standardized how you refer to skill tests or.
So do you mean that they submit their adventure to you and then you lay it out?
No. So they upload it to Facebook or they send it to email, and that's PDF. I ask for a PDF.
Yeah.
So and then that's available then on Facebook for all the GMs, so they can all, if you're part of that group or join now, you can just download them in their original form and play and have fun. And then, but soon, this one will be uploaded there and on the site. So I do this because I enjoy doing this, and I think it's nice to look at your own writing presented in a nice way.
Yeah, absolutely.
This started way back, many years ago when I started doing this for a completely different game. I started to make it, try to play around with InDesign and similar software to just I want to make it look cool. And then, I sort of managed to create a sort of a design. I don't know what to call it.
It's great. It's got a, we would call that in the biz trade dress.
Trade dress is the word.
Kind of created your own style here, and it looks fantastic. It presents things very well. Lots to look at. I like the color. It's got that kind of that Transport Union edition sort of almost rusty kind of red, which I dig. So this is incredible. Always so much fun to look at what people have created, and they've really done it. They've got some great contenders in here. So what's next? How much time do we have?
So the voting closes on Saturday, the 12th at, again, midnight UTC. So that's
and to be clear, it's the GM's group that's voting on.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
So it's already quite a lot of votes coming in, relatively to what I recall from the other years. So that's good. So on basically Sunday morning my time, the winner will be announced, and if that's a Facebook member, they will probably notice and be tagged. If it's a non-Facebook member, they will receive an email with, and then about the live stream.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
even if it's a Facebook user, they will at least get a message. Well, they can get an email because I have their email now.
Yeah, and depending
I
on
will
sort of
send.
timing and scheduling, sometimes
Yeah.
we, you might see it a little closer to the holidays. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So then we try to figure that out, and depending on that, and this PDF will either come up sort of around that time, or if that's quite late, maybe before.
Nice.
So that's kind of
That's it, huh?
What's remain.
Yeah. I mean, what a labor of love, what a fantastic job people are doing. And thank you, friend, for putting it together and being such a stalwart fan and holding the line when it comes to the Expanse and really creating a space for people to come and enjoy community and enjoy, kind of, oops, I slapped my microphone, and enjoy, my hands are always flailing. Yeah, it's really appreciated by me as a community nerd, but just as a person who likes to see good community initiatives run well. It's something that you do really well, and I think you should be really proud of it.
Right, thank you. I will try and implement that compliment.
I know that affliction.
but it's good. I'm not. This is the only one I run. So there are a few others that I'm sort of the founder or maker of, but they run themselves.
Yeah.
So and that works for some reason, and it also worked with this group. And then, this is where I decided. Well, actually, I want to do something because this system. I mean, the setting primarily, but also the system. I'd not been exposed to the Age system before. I'd looked at the Dragon Age game, but I'm not a very big fantasy player, so I was like, I'm not really sure. And I was, again, heresy. I was not a very big fan of the computer game. So then I was like, well, but Expanse, so I must have it. And then, so now I have that Expanse and Fantasy Age.
You got it. Amazing. Yeah, you got an amazing library behind you. So a quick question for just before we're kind of reaching near the end of the program. Tell me a bit about you. So you are you're clearly in the Nordics or something.
I mean, like the Swedish chef, is that right? So I'm not in Sweden. I'm in Norway, a former colony of Sweden, I guess. But on the west coast in Bergen.
Nice.
I guess Texas or Norway. I don't know. Depending on who you ask. But yeah, so this is where I'm located. I do this. Well, I've been doing this for about 30 years.
Yeah.
This hobby, and I work.
You're an aspiring developer, designer as well, right?
Yeah. So I think that aspiring, is that what you call it? Aspiring developer and designer. Yes, I mean I'm working on a setting. I've been working on it for a while because I have, as I said, I work at the university, so I have quite a demanding job doing that. Doing research, which is also very engaging, and but this is the passion, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I live here in the countryside with my cat, who's grumpy and angry with me, and my partner.
Nice. Well, say hello to your partner, and also, again, thank you for all of your hard work and for lending your passion to this effort to the community. I think it shows, and it is definitely it's definitely a wonderful thing to behold and to be involved in, and that's what's great about the whole thing is that folks who are listening now. You can head over to the website, which you'll see in our show notes or in our chat. We'll also include links to the GMs group and the Facebook group. But, community initiatives are oftentimes a challenge to get off the ground. Once you get them off the ground, they're blowing up on every, sort of left, right, and center. And it really does kind of take a steady hand of somebody who is, sort of the benevolent dictator to kind of keep things moving in a nice way and can, kind of amplify other helpers within the community to help moderate and all that stuff. And you're just doing it really, really well. So if folks want to see and get involved in the community done well, this is your jam. Huh?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we are a troika. Richard and Darren, and also Dylan from GRP is part of our sort of little collegium of idea bouncers and decision-making process. So it's
And it's a collaborative, like the discussions that you have. Dylan will let me in on some of the discussions and some of the stuff that. And it's just really, like I said, it's a community done right and done well.
But that is, sure, I'm not denying that I have something to do with that, but that's also the community.
I mean, can't rebuke it. You gotta accept the compliment. What are you, a Dylan?
No, I accept the compliment, but I mean, as I said in the introduction of every single one of the collections is that, so it's all well and good to try and make this happen, but this won't happen unless people participate.
That's right.
So presenting someone with an opportunity and an activity to participate in, and them actually then wanting to participate and actually participating, that's what makes it work.
That's
right. It's not. Sure, it takes some work to prepare and plan, and during and after, but we've been very lucky. There's not, we have a very kind and inclusive and good community, and it's drama free basically.
Yeah, really, for the most part, really is. But I like to think of it as really more of a sort of an unbroken circle. Like there's not a beginning, there's not an end, but there's just this nice flow, this virtuous cycle that continues to kind of move forward, and everyone's got a piece of that. And you started it, so that's all good stuff. I appreciate you, and I also appreciate your humility. You're also just a lot of fun to hang out with and talk to, and I feel like. We're buddies as well as sort of Expanse, compatriots and all that good stuff. But so looking forward to seeing who the winner is, and once we know, we'll amplify the results, and then ship an Ian out to there, an Ian Lemke, line lead for the Expanse RPG, right to their home, right to their doorstep.
Mm-hmm. And then, keep watering.
That's right. We'll need a little watering, a little cheese, and maybe a witticism here and there. But you only get them for a week. All right, my friend. Well, that is that. I think that we have covered it all. Anything else you want to add for the good of the order? I
think we have covered it all.
We have. Do we do it in under an hour?
Yeah. Well, I think we're 45, 47 minutes, something like that. So I think that's good. Efficient.
That's fantastic. Well, we could do this for another 2 hours. I could anyway. Always a pleasure. All right, friends, keep your eyes open for that. I'll also make sure you head over to our Backer Kit campaign so that you can, because it'll be closed and there's some stuff that you want. In addition to, we've got like new maps and stuff that are up, all kinds of good stuff. I think it's 4 more unlocked stretch goals for a total now of 8 have been unlocked, and maybe even more. I haven't looked at the numbers yet because I've been having fun with you. So also thank you for chat, for hanging out, all the friends that asking great questions, and looking forward to seeing what the results are.
Yeah, me too. And thank Green Ronin, and thank you to the community for indulging and joining in.
Absolutely. All right, friends, take care. Thank you, my friend, and we will talk to you soon. I think this is Wednesday. We've got Thursday tomorrow, where we talk about a lot of good stuff. So it is Wednesday, right? Yeah, it is. Okay.
It is.
All right, friends. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Welcome to your next operation, the Expanse role-playing game Transport Union Edition. Based on our intel, this is nothing less than a game changer. We're equipping ourselves with a brand new core rulebook packed with everything needed to navigate the dangers ahead. With 3 new supplements come 2 new sets of dice. And yes, we can confirm gaming minis for the Expanse RPG. And for the new folks, welcome aboard. The Expanse RPG runs on the stunt-powered adventure game engine. It's fast, easy to learn, and prime for action. Veterans, this edition integrates with all your past operations. The difference is more character options, more ships, more equipment, backgrounds, adversaries, and even more still. All of this takes place between the 6th and 7th novels for The Expanse by James S.A. Corey. We've identified 2 mission profiles: Free Navy Conflict and Demon's Gambit, a deep dive into the Transport Union era. And if it's more depth you seek, the Crew Companion is your go-to. It's a player's guide offering more character options and deeper insights into the universe of the Expanse and your place within it. And for the first time, official miniatures for the Expanse RPG. We partnered with War Games Atlantic to bring you 2 sets of miniatures, a set for the crew and another for spaceships. Your crew, your ships in the palm of your hand. Back the Expanse RPG Transport Union Edition today.